Alright, so in the last video we created our entity, and in this video we're going to create our DAO, our data access objects. And the DAO is an interface that defines all the database operations we want to do on our entity. Therefore, let's open Android Studio. Let's right click on the package, go to new, let's choose Kotlin class file, let's call it node.dao, press enter, and this is going to be an interface. Let's call it node.dao, curly braces, and now here we're going to define our functions. So I'm going to type here first insert, so I'm going to type fun insert, and it's going to insert a node of type node, and we're going to put above the annotation insert, then I'm going to type fun delete. I'm gonna delete a node of type node. I'm gonna annotate it with delete. So by annotating with delete and don't providing the actual body, the actual body is gonna be generated by the room for us. So this is why we don't provide the function body here. And then I will type here fun update, also node, type node, right, and let's call it, let's put update. So now all of those, by not providing the body as I said is going to be generated when we compile, when we run our program, and it's going to be generated automatically by the room database. Now, let's say that I want to delete all nodes. For this, we need to use a query. We don't have already pre-built annotation for deleting all nodes. So what I can do here, I can type fun delete all nodes, and I can type here add query, and here I'll type delete in quotation marks, delete from node table, and that is going to delete all the nodes from our node table. Now we also need to get all the nodes from our table, so let's see how we can do that. Therefore I will go down here, I'll type fun get all nodes, and it's gonna have a return type, and the return type is gonna be a live data. So I'm gonna put here live data of type mutable list of, and that is gonna be a node. So I'm gonna type a node, and down here above I will put a query. I'll type query, and I'll type here select from, so select all from. As you can see, if I don't provide the letter and I just type fro, I get immediately an warning, unlike the SQLite Open Helper where you can type that and you not get an warning, but here you get an warning. Delete from, select from table node, order by priority. Alright, so there is a problem here, and the problem is that instead of priority, when I created the entity, I typed age. So let's change this to priority. Let's go back here, and now the error disappeared. Now, as you can see here we are returning live data of mutable list of node, and the room can return live data out of the box, as I said in the first video. And the difference is that you can observe this object. We can observe this object here. So as soon there is changes in our node table, our data is going to be automatically notified. So you'll get immediately in real time the data updated when there is a change in our node table. And that's going to be sent to our UI, to our main activity or to our fragment. Alright, now let's create the database. One more thing that we need to do is to mark our functions with the suspend keyword, because we're going to call them from a coroutine. So let's make them suspend only for those three. Now let's create our database. I'm going to right click, select Kotlin class file. Let's call it and I will type here node database, and I will type abstract class node database inherits from the room database, parentheses, and above I'm gonna put an annotation database entities, and we're gonna pass our node class. Let's put actually this in an array of node class. Then type version. So this is similar to the SQLite open helper. Export schema to false, and inside I'm gonna put curly braces. I'll type abstract fun get nodes DAO, and it's gonna return a node DAO. And then I will type here companion object, because we're gonna create a singleton, only one instance of our database. And I will type here private var instance. It's gonna be of type database, node database. That's gonna be nullable, and gonna assign null to it. Then I will type fun get instance. It's gonna take a context, and it's gonna return, let's import that, and it's gonna return a node database. And here I will type, so let's put a comment, if the instance is null, then return it. Again a comment, if it is, so if it is not null, so if it is null, then create the database. And here I will type return instance, the Elvis operator, and here I will type synchronized on this curly braces, and here I will type val instance equals to room database, room dot database builder. I'm gonna pass the context dot get application context, get application context. I'm gonna put a comma, and here I will type node database. So our node database class Java, and here I'm also gonna pass the name of the database, node database, and I'm gonna put dot build dot, so that it should be here, sorry. So let's put this dot build, and here I'm gonna type instance equals to instance, and I'm gonna return the instance. So let's put a comment here, return instance. So I'm gonna type here instance. Alright, so what this is gonna do is gonna return an instance of our database if the database doesn't have an instance created, and if it has an instance created, it will return the already existing instance. And synchronize means that this can be accessed by only one thread, because threads can have multiple threads trying to access the same database, and by making synchronize this block of code, you make sure that only one thread at a time can access the database, so you don't get in a scenario where, let's say, the database let's say the database is null, so we didn't create a database, and one thread tries to access that database, it's null, and then another thread tries to access the database, and meanwhile the first thread created a database, but the second thread still has the information that the database is null. So you get in those kind of scenarios where it's where you can get easily in trouble. So by making this synchronized, we make sure that only one thread can access this code at a time. Alright, so now we have our database ready, and it's abstract because this all the code that is necessary for creating the database, it will be generated automatically by the room database, so you don't need to type ourselves all of that. Alright, so I'm gonna end this video here and see you in the next video.